Hey cycling community, this is Steve, Cruises the Cycling Greek. December 1st last year, my weight was 179 pounds, and through steady, even, consistent work, I got it down to 160 during the middle of the race season when the climbing is really starting to happen for me, the climbing races. So now it's off season this year, and December 1st, instead of weighing 179, because I'd really porked up, I'm only 163 and a half. What's my secret? I'll tell you at the end of this workout. Now this workout is 2x20 threshold. And ordinarily on this beautiful bright day I'd be doing it on the 4-lane, but because the high is only going to be 53, it's about 49 right now, I'm going to do it on the flats. So 20 minutes each, 5 minutes bigger gear, 5 minutes smaller gear, that type of thing. All right, stay tuned for my secret. Obviously, there's nothing exciting to show you about doing two 20-minute intervals solo. So I decided to show you this Zwift crit I did this past Sunday. This crit took place sometime in the later afternoon. I actually was going to do a Zwift crit in the morning, but I wasn't feeling up to it. I was feeling the day before's workout, and this was also a Zwift workout because it was raining outside, and I did 100 kilometers in a 100-kilometer Zwift event on Saturday morning. For just about 2.5 hours, I averaged 193 watts, which is pretty much at the bottom of my endurance range. And for whatever reason, that kind of sucked the life out of me for a little bit. Don't know why. Could have been that on Thursday before I had a pretty killer workout, climbing workout, where I did a couple of 20-minute threshold intervals, or tried to, because I was kind of dragging from that, and it was a real cold day, so maybe accumulation of stuff. So now it was having an effect on how I was feeling after the Zwift event I did on Saturday. So now it's Sunday, and I keep putting off the race. So it's going from mid-morning to late morning to early afternoon, and eventually, after I got a little bit of sleep during the day, I went and did the race later in the afternoon. Even though I was feeling better, I could tell my legs still didn't have it, and that I was dragging. And on top of that, the pack seemed pretty strong as a group. I had no idea how I was going to do in this race. I at least wanted to hang on and at least have some fun, being connected to them and at least have a chance. Now, when we started off pretty strong, but then everybody kind of just muted back just a bit. So that enabled me to ride toward the front. So now we're on the cobbled climb. And this is always a tough one. This is where everybody tends to attack. And so they didn't attack at this point, and I was able to stay in the group. So that means I got to survive, but this is only the first lap. Jumping ahead to the top of that climb on the second lap, people started to light things up. At the bottom of the climb, I was toward the front of the pack, and now you can see I'm toward the back. So you can look up ahead and see that they are pushing it. There's a number of them that are pushing it. There's a guy that has taken a flyer out there, and there's some others that are pretty darn strong that are going after him. So now we're starting to stretch out. If you're looking at the graphics in the upper right-hand corner, the little map there, you can see that, yes, we are stretched out as what you're seeing now. Now we're heading into the roller section, the ups and downs. So here is where I put power in on the incline, and on the decline I dialed back just a bit. Now I'm not dialing back as much on the incline, on the decline now, because of I'm trying to hang on to with these guys, and these guys are just pushing it. Man, it's still stretched out, and I can tell you it's hurting. Let me tell you, I do not want to get dropped on the second lap. So I'm hoping these, and it's starting to bunch up. I was hoping it'd bunch up, and so it looks like it's starting to bunch up. They're still pushing in the front, but I think the realization is coming, so everyone is going to start to dial back a bit. And that helps me, and I need to recover. On the third lap, everyone dialed back, which helped me, but I knew I wasn't long for the peloton. So now this is the fourth time up. This is the fourth lap, and now people are starting to light it up, and now I'm at the back. And I am trying to increase my wattage. It's hard for me to go above 5.5 for sure. So now we're over the top, a little more of a climb. So now I'm hoping these guys dial back, and they're not dialing back. I'm still pushing it, but you can tell by my wattage that I am pretty much just about giving up the ghost. It's not really a case of giving up. It's more like giving out, because my legs just don't have it. Everything has just caught up for me. So they look so close, but I know they're not. When we get to the roller section, I'll do my little technique where I'm pushing it on the climbs and dialing back on the descents a bit. And that gives me a bit of a chance. But no, these guys are gone. They're pushing it. And I just don't have the legs anymore. So there's one poor soul behind me. With over half the race to go, I now have to try and stay away from this guy. Well, that didn't work, and I didn't think it was going to work. He caught me with 2 laps to go, and now we're on the final lap. And he's attacked coming out of the roller section. So now I'm having to dig, and I'm having to dig a lot to get to him. I can't even do 300 watts. But fortunately, I'm crawling up to him. I'm seeing the close the gap close, and now I'm on his wheel. I do not know anything about Mr. Jozwiak, and he doesn't know anything about me. So after the fact, I look up his data and I see that he's 52, I'm 67, and that he's probably recently had, or somewhat recently, had a gnarly break in his foreleg, because I look at his profile picture and it's a picture of his x-ray. He is probably carrying some extra hardware just as I am. I'm finally back on his wheel, and now our wattages start to go down. We are both resting for the finish. So let's jump to the finish. Actually, we're jumping to the last climb on the last lap. Up until this climb, Mr. Jozwiak has put in a couple of tacks that had dragged me to the ground just about, but I was able to get onto his wheel. So coming into this climb, he's put in some power and to try to get away from me. And this time I was ready for him, because on the last lap he did the same thing and caught me sleeping, and I had to really dig to get on his wheel. Fast forward through the slow down and look at each other parts, and now we're about to enter the roller section right before the finishing sprint. I don't have a lot of gas in the tank, and I'm guessing that the same may be for Mr. Jozwiak. I don't know his age at the time that I'm doing this race, but I'm guessing that he's younger than me, because most everybody's younger than me in these races. I gotta try and stay with him here, but it looks like he's putting a little bit of distance on me, so I'm pushing it, he's pushing it. I am able to reconnect. Now, this is where I should just counter him and go for it, but, again, I don't have a lot left in me, and he should be countering me too, but he doesn't have a lot left. So at the curve here, I just start laying down the watts, and I'm hoping that I can maintain it, and looks like he's reached his limits. I see that he's reached his limit, but I'm not going to stop until I cross that line, and Mr. Jozwiak and I come in last and second to last. Okay, let's go back. I should be done with my threshold workout. Whoa. It's amazing how fast I could do that loop when I'm doing threshold intervals on it. Okay, so I got my 2x20s in there, and it was, I estimate toward the bottom of the threshold. The reason I say I estimate is because I haven't done a FTP test since February 1st, around there, of last year. Of this past year. So I kind of estimate that I went down a bit, but I'm going to be doing another FTP test day before Christmas with Natalia. Anyway, that's the plan right now. So then I'll get a better gauge on where I am. But yeah, 2x20 is the threshold, and that went well. All right. So my secret for not ballooning up this off season like I did last off season: peanut butter. I love peanut butter, and I was using a lot of it last year. Now I just kind of painted it on the bread, and that's made a world of difference. I was not worrying about calories too much last year, because I had started with my leg work in the gym, squats, deadlifts, things like that. And I'm continuing that along this off season too. But I'm sure there's some other things that contributed too, but primarily it's peanut butter. I think I'm going to do a weight loss eating kind of video. It's going to be a little different than what you've seen before. I'm still working on it, so hopefully I'll be coming up with that soon. All right, hope you enjoyed this and you got something out of it. As always, remember, comment, like, subscribe. The Cycling Greek.